Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to play with JQuery user interface, and you can just go to jQueryui.com. The first thing to do is download it, and you'll go here and scroll down, and I just selected download and included all the options. You can change your theme or make your own, no big deal. We just want to do something with it. And then go to demo and documentation, and you can choose some of these things to take a look at it. What we're going to play with is the slider. Okay, and you see this is just a little bar that slides left and right, and it's cool because it's a little widget for your website. So after you've downloaded it, unzip it to a folder, maybe on your desktop. That's where I put mine, and you get an index.html file. Everything is pretty much included, and I'm going to edit mine. And I've already cleaned this out. Basically, I went from this point where we include the user interface and deleted everything and just left this here. I've included a custom JS file, which is where I'm going to write the JavaScript code. So make sure you go to your JS folder, create a custom JS file, and I'll go ahead and open that. And I just have a document ready function in here. And you can make sure it's working by doing alert 1. And we can make a new tab and testing and drag that in there, and 1, so it's working. The next thing, we're going to make a slider, and to make a slider we need to attach it to an document object on the page. So let's make a div ID and call this slider. Okay, and in the custom JS I'm just going to grab that div ID of slider and add a slider. Okay, and refresh, and now I have this big nice slider that doesn't do anything. And you can go to this UI page here and just view the source, and it's basically showing us the same thing, but what I'm trying to show you is how to actually use this. So you can go to options here, and they have a bunch of these for different elements we want to use, and what we want to do is change some of the values. Whoops, sorry about that. And if I'm in the slider, what I can do is pass an object in here, and an object in JavaScript is these little squiggly brackets, and I'm going to say max will be 25, and you don't end these with a semicolon in this literal object, you end it with a comma. And then let's do min of 0. I'll do a min of 10. And we could change the orientation to be a vertical if we wanted, and I'll refresh that. Okay, now notice I have 10 to 25. My minimum is 10 to 25, so there's really only 15 clicks if you slid this up, so you can change that. All these things are different options if you decide to change those, and these are just options here. We want to go to events, and when someone changes the slider we want something to happen. Okay, and first what I'm going to do is create an item here called div ID equals I'll just call it S2. Okay, and I'll pop a 0 in there. Basically we're going to make this div stretch up and down, and to know that we're stretching it we need to add some style in here. So first I'll say style, and I'll say S2, and I'll say background, can't type very well today, is silver. Okay, let me refresh that. Okay, so we have that there. I'm going to change this back to horizontal. I don't like that. Okay, refresh, and when we slide this it's going to make it bigger. And if we go back to the jQuery page, an event with a change, you can see inside of that object that we just made, we create a function. So we'll say change function event UI, and you might not know this, but there's values inside of the user interface that we can get back. I'll just do alert UI, and you'll see what I mean. And I'll drag that, and we get an object. And if you know how to print object keys in JavaScript, you can find those out. But I'll just give you the answer. It's .value. So I'll refresh, and we get 11, 12, and it goes to 25 and back to 10. So first thing we want to do is update this value in the box, and we called that S2. So I'll say s2.html, and that will be ui.value. Okay, and refresh, and every time I drag this I get a new number. Works good. And now we're going to change the height of the S2 box. So let's grab it again and say s2.css, and I'm going to change the height, and I'm going to get the UI value, and I'm going to multiply it by 10 so that it's visible, and then I'm going to append px to it for pixels, and you should know that if you know CSS. Okay, so I let go, and it keeps getting bigger and shrinking. Now obviously you could do a lot more with this and knowing the numbers. You can also create these, well, I won't go into binding and all that. If you're going to create another slider, you should give it a different class name. For example, slider2.slider, so that this is totally different and it won't conflict. Div ID equals slider2, and refresh, and now we have two sliders. This one won't interfere with that one, and that one still works. And really what you could do is make this affect the same element when we do a change. And I'll just grab s2 dot append, and I'll say ui dot value times 500. Refresh, and that adds just something to the end of it. So you could make sliders work together if you wanted. And I think that's a pretty quick, simple introduction. You can learn a lot from this document page. So check it out, and I hope this helped you, and thanks for watching.